Hello and welcome to a pre-third test Ask George with the man himself who's made it to just about to Rajkot.
I've made it. Thank you for having me. I've made it fine. I just haven't got any possessions anymore. But, I'm feeling all John Lennon about it, so it's fine.
Well, you have managed to write some stuff, and of course, anyone can read all of that and more. George's stuff on the tour by subscribing to Cricket's digital offering for only £3.99 a month, which you can access via the link somewhere in the video description. I feel like we should address the elephant in the room that Danny's asked quite nicely for us. I think on the back of your tweets this morning. Between Air India and the ECB, which would you rate as the most efficient travel operator when it comes to basics like filing paperwork and transporting luggage?
Very good question. We've all got the visa issue wrong at times. It can be tricky. I think they have got it wrong with Rehan Ahmed. I think that there was an error and he had a single entry visa. I think that does come down to the ECB. It's not the same as the show issue at all. That was all about his ancestry and took far longer than it should have done. I don't think the ECB did anything wrong there. As for Air India, do you know what? The food on Air India is incredible. It's brilliant. But it would be nice to have my luggage. Look, luggage gets lost on flights. I think this is the third or fourth time it's happened in 18 months to me. To put it in perspective, it does happen. But what usually happens is you get a form. Well, it's just if you make flights which have changes, it can happen quite often. So it certainly happened when I was going to New Zealand not so long ago, and it's happened previously in Dubai not so long ago. Anyway, it happens, but they find a way of getting it back. What they've said is, "Oh well, we filled out the form wrong in the airport in Rajkot. They filled it out wrong, and because of that, they haven't got the reference numbers they need. Therefore, they can't look for it. So they're not looking for it." Until I went on Twitter. Now they are a little bit, but it comes at a time when Barclays had also, my bank, I should say, had stopped my card because they said there was fraudulent activity on it, and I think there probably is. Someone is trying to buy everything they can possibly think of in the world on PayPal. And so to lose all your belongings and the ability to buy more on the same day struck me as somewhat unfortunate. But, here I am in Rajkot. Hey, can I show you my view? Can I show you my view? You've got to laugh. Look at the view out of my window. They've just put curtains there, as if you won't notice in the morning, Anyway, you've got to laugh. I'm having a terrific time, and I haven't gone mad at all.
Well, on that, Paul Crowley asks, "What are you going to wear tomorrow?" That's what you've got on now. I see.
No, I've just bought it. I can show you. There's a Levi's shop next door. It's boom time for them, so I can show you. Look, I don't know. What do you want? Do you want?
Have you got six of those?
They're 155 rupees. They only had two pairs. They literally only had two pairs. 150. That's £1.50. Do you want to see boxer shorts? What did they cost? They were like £3.50. So in a way, boom time. I think I'm oversharing. What I don't have is any wine.
Should we get to the cricket?
I did in my bag. Stolen to order, I reckon. They saw me coming in. Yeah, we could talk about cricket, I guess.
Well, Swapnil,
maybe we should talk about your flat because Nick there, this is his first time doing anything like this in his new flat, and doesn't it look smart and nice?
It's the first day I've had Wi-Fi. It's the first day I can do it in here.
Nice. Well, I bet if you've got curtains, you've probably got a window behind them, haven't you?
That is the only sense.
Tell me you have.
I know, I do.
Okay.
I've got curtains out a window. The little winds.
You beat me there.
Yeah. To the cricket. Swapnil Singh asks, with almost 100 English players in the UAE, I don't know if it's quite that many, but it is certainly a lot. Shouldn't England have called up one of them as a standby for Jack Leach? how sustainable is it to have 3 spinners in the squad when you also have to play 3 in the 11? Why not just call up Will Jacks or Liam Dawson? Will Jacks, of course, just scored 100 today, I think, in the Bangladesh Premier League. So he's a busy man.
I think it shows a couple of things. One, I think it shows that they rate the guys they've got. I think that's the main takeaway. It's a positive takeaway. And two, I don't think it's that flattering about what they think of the rest. Sorry, but I don't. I think that they like guys who bowl quickly into the pitch. And those guys that you're talking about, Will Jackson, a lovely looking bowler, isn't he? And obviously a very good batter. But he bowls much slower, more loopy. So it's partly horses for courses. And I suppose you could argue it also means that those guys aren't a huge distance away. Certainly, Rajkot and Ranchi are. Anyway, there's the people could get here quite quickly if need be. You could argue that Dan Lawrence is the next in line. Say there were a concussion problem, I think to a spinner, I guess Dan Lawrence would come in. So I'm not sure they're going to play 3 specialist spinners anyway here. It looks as if they might play 2.
On Jack Leach, Danny asks, Danny's second contribution to the show, says if Jack Leach didn't have bad luck, would he have no luck at all?
Yeah, but yes. And you never want to speculate about someone's health, but we do know he has this Crohn's issue, and we do know there are, the medication involved doesn't always encourage healing in the quickest possible way in other regards. I suspect that's relevant. So it's really different. It's a little reminder of actually how well he's done. He's had so many setbacks in his career, right from not being signed for Somerset, having gone through all those youth teams, and having to go off and I think he parked trolleys in a supermarket for a year and forced his way back in. Through the sepsis he had in New Zealand, I think it was. You do not want sepsis. And all the other times, the stress fractures, the being told he was chucking it, which took us all a bit by surprise, I think. So many setbacks.
Broke his thumb before his debut, didn't he? No, sorry, broke his thumb after his debut in New Zealand and before the Pakistan series, and then lost his spot to Don Bess's. Once again, he's sort of a younger Somerset off-spin teammate.
Also tripped over in the bathroom and tried to nip to the loo in the night and knocked himself out. So, I mean, some of it's freakish.
And then obviously, of course, what was it, 2 years ago, 2022 at Lords, wasn't it? First Bazball test was the concussion bang on the head at running back to third man, fine leg, wasn't it? And,
so that is relevant. I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that, I think, shows you part of the reason they like him so much, because he's such a wholehearted cricketer. And right at the start of that test, right at the start of this new era, he was off running after the ball and he dived with such enthusiasm that he hit his head slightly bizarrely. It was almost a whiplash injury, wasn't it? And you could say that, I don't know, I don't want to criticise him at all, but a more athletic fielder might have done it differently. But, what you're basically saying is he was so enthusiastic and determined that he didn't care for himself. He just threw himself after the ball. And that is the spirit of Stokes and co, if anything ever was. But I think that the big thing is with Jack Leach is I hope that people recognise what a tough little fella he is, because obviously physically he doesn't have the abilities of a Ben Stokes or something. Career, having a terrific career with all these health issues, and I think they are entwined. I think it would be wrong to just see this as a freakish knee injury. It's a unfortunate knee injury which has probably taken longer to heal because of his long-term health conditions. I hope that's not inappropriate to sort of speculate on that, even as I say it. I think it might be, but I do think it's relevant, and we don't talk about it. He doesn't talk about it, but it does remind you of how tough and determined he is. And I know it doesn't always look like it. But he really is. He's come back from so many setbacks and so many challenges, and he deserves a huge amount of praise for that. And it would be a real shame if this is the end of the line. But of course, there's a possibility that it is, because Hartley in particular has come into the team. can bat a bit. Bowls left arm, of course it could be. But Jack Leach has come back through so much in the past. I wouldn't write him off now either.
No, quite. Obviously, no Leach in Rajkot. Yaya Marjan Baloch asks, should England pick 2 seamers for the 3rd test? I think that is certainly a possibility.
Well, I mean, I think they probably will. I mean, I think when I first saw the pitch today, if I'm honest, I didn't think they would. But then they are tall these days. I suppose we have to remember that in the whole of history, there's only been these last 2 tests that we know for sure that England have ever gone in with just one seam bowling option, not even all-rounders. So it shouldn't be unusual that we talk about it. But it certainly looked as if Wood and Anderson were preparing to play. And I want Rahan might be the one to miss out. I mean, it's possible that Sherb could miss out, but I suspect it'll be Rahan.
And lastly, this is an interesting point. I'd not thought about this, and I suspect coincidence rather than anything else. But Sushant asks, isn't it interesting that all 3 failed chases under Bazball had a pivotal dozy run-out / stumping? So we're talking Stokes in Vizag, Bairstow at Lords, and Brooke in Wellington.
The Root ran him out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's the one.
I mean, it is interesting because I hadn't picked up on it either. But I don't know what you read into it. And I think probably nothing. I mean, I think almost nothing. I particularly thought the last run out, the Stokes one in Vizag was, I don't think on the field there. And they were never going to go clear near that anyway. But I definitely don't see anything untoward there or anything. I don't know if that's the team plays. They're always pushing the boundaries, and maybe these things are more likely. I don't know. The Harry Brook one was perhaps particularly regrettable. I still think England should have won that, really.
Yeah, I think you're right. It strikes me as an interesting coincidence rather than any kind of thing to read into. I would speculate.
Yeah, I think so too. But there we are. Yeah, is that everything?
Anyway, that's all, folks.
See you tomorrow, God willing. Sorry for the delay with doing this, and thank you for the people who asked Georges to India Airlines, because it did seem to focus their mind a little bit.
There was the hashtag changed at one point. It was at one point hashtag Ask Air India, wasn't it? So that's that one. Yeah, it was. That, go and ask.
I wish I could show you the form. I wish I could show you the form. I might, would I be pushing my luck to put it online, because they got the wrong email address, the wrong phone numbers, the wrong booking numbers. I mean, it was just like, go on, find that. Anyway, somebody somewhere is going to have a suitcase full of my dirty washing. Good luck.
Anyway, see you tomorrow in that nice blue shirt of yours.